So, how many of you know the North Atlanta area? I bet you didn't know that where my friend Mary Ellen lives, the Alpharetta, it's the tech capital of the South. And she's going to talk a little more about that today. But I want to introduce you to an awesome woman. She's very successful in Atlanta, but specifically in North Atlanta area. My friend Mary Ellen, how are you today?
I'm great. Thank you for having me on, Jennifer, my friends. Yes, I'm in the North Atlanta area. So Alpharetta there's 900 technology companies. Most of them are internationally based. We have a lot of dogs and birds in the area. So if you hear them in the background, it's just the fun of being in the suburbs of North Atlanta.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay. Well, to start off, can you just tell us, about yourself, maybe how you got into real estate?
sure, sure. I'm originally from New York. So I'm a Wall Street girl. So I was born and raised in New York, worked on Wall Street for JP Morgan in the mergers and acquisitions departments. I got into real estate because I was like, oh, I love to invest. Let me learn about investing into real estate. So I'm a high, driven person. So I decided I was getting my real estate license, and 3 weeks later, I got my real estate license, and that's been 21 years having my real estate license. And I just love helping people, and I love helping people build wealth. So that's like my big why. So like I said, born and raised in New York. I'm married to a Belgian. My husband's from Belgium. He has an international manufacturing company in Alpharetta. That's why we live in Alpharetta, and we just love where we live.
Oh, and I've heard that the North Atlanta area is so amazing. It's funny because, when we talk about Atlanta, it is so huge and every suburb
Yes,
has its own lifestyle, right?
yes. So the
Yeah.
lifestyle where we are in Alpharetta is golf courses, tennis course, pickleball, and swimming pools. So like a lot of people, it's really lifestyle driven is our area. That's why a lot of people will work in the city but live in Alpharetta.
Okay, okay. So let's talk about, your specific area, for example, North Atlanta. So what's the market like right now?
The market is always interesting and always has been interesting. Where we live, you can have a really hot neighborhood, and next door, it's not so hot. Yes, we are still having multiple offers in certain price points in certain areas. So it's definitely a market that is driven on location and lifestyle.
Okay. And so what do you think would be, of course, let's take Alfreda. What's the median home price, just to give people an
Yeah, so
idea?
Alpharetta is pretty expensive compared to the other parts of Atlanta. So average price point is going to be around 5 or 600,000. Most likely it's higher than that depending on the specific area you are in Alpharetta. So it's very hard. It's a very expensive place for a first-time home buyer. They're going to have to go out to the east or the west or the north to get something in price point under about 5 or 600,000.
I was going to ask if that caused any challenges with first-time buyers. So since you cover
Yes.
North Atlanta, what other
Yes,
cities, would you send them to?
sure. So we're in Alpharetta, so we'll send them like we cover Cumming, which is north. So as you're going north, things are expanding, but you are able to find more affordable places. If you go onto the west side, we have Canton and Woodstock, which are great places for location. Otherwise, if you can't be in Alpharetta, we also have Roswell, which is south, and then if you go south a little bit more, Dunwoody and Sandy Springs, and then on the east side you're going to do like Swanee or Sugar Hill, and you're just going to go out a little further to be able to, depending on what you're looking for. If you're looking for a lot of square footage, what you're going to find in the Atlanta area is we have big houses here. We have a lot of square footage. So if people are looking for a lot of square footage and they're looking for a lot of land, then sometimes you might have to go out a little further depending on your price point.
Um, I was going to ask, are there any universities in your area? Like,
So the universities are all going to be in Atlanta. So you have Georgia Tech, Georgia State. So you have that really in the downtown area. You have Emory as well, which is a little bit east of that. We do have the North Georgia schools, which are north of us. So, and we have Kennesaw, which is on the west side. So you've got definitely the universities. If you do live in Alpharetta, you can commute to those universities, but most people will stay on campus downtown or north or east or west, wherever they are.
Sure. So going back to the tech companies, since you have so many, where do you see people moving from? Is it from overseas to Atlanta? Is it from
Everywhere.
different states?
So what you're going to see in our area is a lot of international, we have a lot of international culture in our area. So you're going to have people from all over the world coming here, also from California, New York, Texas, all over the place. But what you're seeing is these companies are bringing in, like, for instance, my husband has a company in Alpharetta, and they are bringing people in from Spain and from Germany and from Mexico. So they're coming to this area to live. So what you're going to see in this area is lots of culture. You're going to see lots of different restaurants, lots of different things that will cater towards the different culture that we have in our area.
Wow, and that
Nobody's
sounds
really
fun.
from nobody's really from Atlanta or from this area, like where, there are some people that have lived in Atlanta, but honestly, most people are transplants from other parts of the world here.
Okay. So they're coming from all over the world to your area, which
Yes.
is really nice. I do love trying lots of different foods, so you're lucky in that aspect.
Yes.
Um, let's talk about, the aging population. So, you know, um, I don't know if this happens in your area, but are
Mhm.
people, because the hurricanes and things that go on in Florida, do you have people coming to your area maybe to retire, maybe that don't want to live on the beach? Do you have specific communities for those people
Yes.
or
We
yeah.
do. So what we see here is, because it's so corporate here and so much relocation, remember, a lot of the grandparents follow the kids and grandkids, right? So there's a lot of people that will come to our area because their grandkids are here and their kids, right? Because they want to be involved in their kids' lives. So we see a lot of relocation in that aspect. We also have some counties that will give discounts on property taxes if they're over
Hmm.
62 years old. So that's a big draw to that. Also, because we're so close to the Georgia mountains, we're an hour away from the Georgia mountains, that we do have a lot of people that will have a second home in the Georgia mountains, and they have their first home in Florida, say. So we do have a lot of people doing that because they don't want to be in Florida the whole entire year because it's too humid. They'll come up here because we have the four seasons here. So we do have winter, summer, spring, and fall, which is really nice. So people do like that. So they will come to this area because of that.
Well, that makes a lot of sense because, we're on a call with 1,000 people every morning, and that, Florida, they're having some issues with, people
Sure.
being able to get homeowners insurance and things like that. So, these people may want to still be kind of close to Florida, but, reap the
Yes.
benefits in Georgia. So your property taxes, do you feel like they're fairly low in Georgia?
So we usually say about between 1 and 1.25%
Hmm.
of the sales price of the house. So consider that. I mean, yes, they're inexpensive compared to New York, where I'm from, but a lot of people, taxes are not as expensive in other areas. And, so I always say that's a really good realm there, is that you're going to pay about 1 to 1.25% of the sales price of your house is probably your taxes. So I just incorporate that. That's a good
Which I
number
think is
there.
fairly low because here in Indiana, of course,
Yes,
our price point is lower than yours, but it's about
right.
1%. So yeah, that's really an incentive for a lot of people, honestly. So let as far as investors go, I wanted to bring that
Yes,
up because, you know, I'm sure you have lots of hospitals in your area and all sorts of um,
sure.
you know, a need for maybe midterm and short-term rentals, especially if someone's, moving to the area and looking for a house or whatever. Do you have a lot of investors or any good opportunities for investors in your area?
Yeah, so we do have opportunity for investors, but I will tell you about the Atlanta area that is a lot of places are rent restricted. So a
Oh,
lot of our HOAs do not allow rentals, and our, of course, condos and townhouses, they have a rental limit. Once that limit is reached, then they will not have rentals. So having a great agent in the area, knowing to find that out, because people will send us properties. I love this house. I'm like, I do too. I'd love to invest in that house. I'm an investor myself, right? But it's
right.
rent restricted. So what I would say is a lot of the HOAs have come down on Airbnbs, so we don't have a lot of them. I
Mm.
mean, yes, we do in certain areas, but we have to be careful when it comes to investing. Most of our investor are 12 long-term rentals, not as much as the short term. There is plenty of that available. Don't get me wrong, but what I was saying is because of a lot of the rental restrictions in some of the areas. Now, that's mostly in the area where I'm at. If you go to certain parts of Atlanta, you're going to have the shorter term rentals. If you go up to the mountains, you're going to get some shorter term rentals, but
Mm.
really in our area, there's not, because it's so strict with the HOAs. That's kind of
It
what
makes sense.
drives that.
Yeah, it
Well,
makes sense.
do
And
you want somebody to, like, do you want a next door neighbor to have parties every night and have an Airbnb? No, when you're paying a good amount of money for a property. So I see both areas, but in our area, it's very suburban, it's very family orientated, and it just doesn't happen as much in our area. That makes sense. But there's
well,
lots of opportunity. I'm going out today with one of my investors to look at some properties. There's definitely lots of opportunity for investing. It's just having the right strategy, and being an investor
sure.
myself, my background in investing, I really can help people figure out what is their strategy for investing.
Well, honestly, and I don't know that this is a popular opinion, but I believe in those rental caps because we're currently going through this in my town. And I don't know that it's a popular opinion, but I don't care because I really believe in those rental caps. I know that before real estate, I worked with corporate property management, and I do
Sure.
know a lot of background on that. So, yeah, I do think that the HOAs, whether someone doesn't like hearing this or not, should limit, especially in certain areas. So I 100%
Sure.
agree with that. And
Sure.
that makes a lot of sense, especially in your
Well,
area since it's a higher
that's why
price.
you need a good agent to guide you in the right direction, because I'm going to guide you and say, because I love when our client, that's why we can set somebody up on a search and with rental restrictions, like, you know what I mean? So these properties can be rented than the other ones, because people will start sending you stuff and you're like, oh yeah, that's a great property, but it's not, you can't rent it. So
Exactly.
yeah, I
Exactly.
don't think it's a challenge with investors. We have a ton of investors around here. It's just, what is your strategy? And here, I think what's important is a strategy of, if you either flipping a house, or if you have a house and you're holding it, you might break even on a rent to what it's owned. But honestly, the appreciation of a house, if you're holding a house for 5 to 10 years, that's where you're going to make your money, because Atlanta historically has been anywhere from 8 to 15% per year,
Mm.
religiously for the last 20 years. So you're gonna, double your investment, in 9 years. So that's what you have to kind of look at. So I think because we're so consistent, like how maybe Florida and California, that they're very like, one year they're up, 50%, but then the next year they're down 10%. So like it's like one of those things, it's consistent. So just being consistent with the appreciation. So that's why people are buying and investing in this area and doing a long term, hold, because of that.
Yes, and wow, that is really great because you can tell that's a great opportunity for people, and they definitely, like you said, need someone like you who is experienced, who is an investor yourself, so you really know what's going on in the
Sure.
area, which is awesome.
Absolutely.
So you did mention a few fun things in your area. You said golf courses and tennis and fun restaurants. Are there any other fun things like festivals or anything you guys are known for
Oh,
throughout the year?
absolutely. I mean, we have everything. We have music, we have museums, we have hiking, we have pickleball. Of course, pickleball. Everyone loves pickleball right now.
Yes.
We have golf, we have swim. It's just where we are, it's because we have the four seasons, we're able to be outside a lot. We do have a lot of outside activities, outside festivals, unless when it rains, they do cancel them. We have botanical gardens, we have like so many things to see and do. You will never be bored in the Atlanta area. And a lot of times you don't even have to leave your city of Alpharetta. There's downtown Alpharetta and Avalon, and there's just so many areas to do so many things, restaurants, and you don't really have to leave your area if you don't want to.
Well, which is good because, some people don't want to go to the downtown area. That's intimidating for some people. Gosh, it's not really intimidating, but for me, the traffic, it's like I would rather just
Yes.
find a great area and have a lot of my stuff up there, a lot of fun things to do. So that's
And
really
especially
awesome.
the traffic is very challenging here, we have to say. That's one of the downfalls of Atlanta is traffic. And you can and I think that that's what's important is when you do want to go down to the city or down to the airport, we always have to time it on the right time because we could be
Mm.
stuck in traffic. So being where we have so many areas here that are live, work, and play, where everyone is, you've got your housing, you've got your grocery store, you have everything in walkable distance, that people are really liking that now, which has just really come about in the last 5 to 10 years, where we've had all these communities being built around live, work, and play.
I think that's really important too. But say someone was going to work downtown and wanted to live away from the hustle and bustle, you do have some sort of public transportation. Is that right? Is it sort of
Yeah,
a
we sort of
train
do. It's
or?
called, you remember, I'm from New York, so I mean, there's
Oh,
nothing
yeah.
compared to New York,
Okay.
right?
Yeah,
But most
right.
people will get in their car and drive. But we do have a
Okay.
MARTA system. We do have buses. We have those systems. But what I would say is that most people in Atlanta, that's probably why we have so much traffic, will get in their car and drive. So that's really the most, but we do have public transportation besides that.
Nothing like the subway though, right?
No, nothing like the New York subway where I mean, I commuted to New York City from Long Island, and it was like so easy. Hop on the LIE, get in, get on the subway, get to Wall Street. It was so easy, and I didn't have to think about driving and being stressed about driving. I was on a train, I did the subway, did it, and I find that driving in a car can be very stressful, right?
Oh, yes. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Listen, no, thank. Let me jump on a
Exactly.
subway. That sounds
Yeah,
fun.
go ahead. Go ahead.
So, one of my last things is, if someone was considering moving to your area, what advice would you give them? What should they do?
Oh, so my advice is to really find the area that you want to be in. So we do a lot of videos like you do, YouTube videos on different areas, and really learning matching with our clients. So we ask them a lot of questions. We match where they want to be. And sometimes people are like driven by school systems or they're driven by lifestyle. And we want to make that an easy decision on where they want to be, because we just ask a lot of questions and we get what they want to do, what are their wants, their needs, and price point, and just really hone them into where they want to do and give them opportunity for different areas to look at.
I love
So
that.
do
And I
your
love your
research.
video.
Do your research, because every
Yes.
little city around here, whether it's Sugar Hill, whether it's Duluth, whether it's Roswell, whether it's Alpharetta, whether it's Cumming, they all have such unique places and unique cities where people can be happy. And also if it's driven by their kids' gymnastics or soccer or whatever. So you really have to hone in on what's important to that family and guide them in the right direction.
I agree. Well, I love your videos. You always have videos on so many fun places and you're just so amazing. And I loved seeing you at Disney World because I felt like
Oh,
you were
Disney
in your
World was
element.
fantastic. Yes.
Oh
And
my
I'll be in
goodness.
London too as well. So I love, and
Oh,
thank you for having me on this little podcast video, whatever you want to call it. And if you're looking in the North Atlanta area, please reach out to me. If I cannot handle the area, I will guide you with an amazing agent that can guide you and find you a great property.
yes, and scoot over so they can take a screenshot of your little
There
wait,
you
other
go.
way. Yes. Okay.
Oh, my
Yes.
contact information. So
Yes,
yeah,
of
there you
course.
go. It's my phone number. And then if you want to go to northatlantaluxury.com, has all my contact information. Follow me on socials. We're very active on socials and we're always there giving information and educating viewers on what is going on in our area.
Exactly. What's your YouTube again?
Is moving to North Atlanta. Yes.
This
So
lady
yes,
right
and then
here,
we
she's
have
an
inside
expert.
the real, we have two, and we have inside the world of real estate, which is all about great agents across the country. So we have two YouTube channels that we manage, and we just try to give back to the community and let everybody look at how great our area is and community
Sure.
focused. We're very community focused with all of our shopping local and supporting our local businesses.
I love that so much. So you heard it from her. If you are looking to move to the North Georgia area and you want someone who's knowledgeable, who's been in the business forever, who knows her stuff, Mary Ellen's a person for you. Thank you so much again for
Thank
doing this. I
you.
really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye bye.